There's a war being fought right now. It's not for land or resources, but for the future of intelligence itself. And it's a war on three fronts: on our screens for our attention, on Wall Street for trillions of dollars, and pretty soon, in the vast emptiness of space.
Okay, so to really get what's going on, let's look at the battlefield as it stands today. This is early 2026. At a glance, it looks like OpenAI's ChatGPT is king of the hill, right? I mean, it's got almost 2/3 of all web traffic. But if you look closer, you'll see that this kingdom is absolutely under siege. This isn't a story about dominance, it's about how fast the game is changing.
So let's start with that first front, the ground war. The relentless battle for users. What looked like a total knockout victory a year ago has turned into an all-out brawl.
And here's what I'm talking about. Check this out. Just 12 months ago, ChatGPT had a stranglehold on this market, nearly 87%. But today, that's dropped all the way down to 64.5%. We're talking about a slide of over 22 percentage points. That is a huge deal, and it shows the tides are seriously turning in this war for our clicks.
So where did all those users go? Well, a massive chunk of them went right here. Google's Gemini has just been on an absolute tear. In that same year, it nearly quadrupled its share, rocketing from under 6% to over 21%. Turns out, plugging your AI into Google's, everything, is a pretty powerful weapon in this fight.
And then, below those two giants, there's this really fascinating skirmish for third place. Elon Musk's Grok, which is baked right into X, has jumped up to 3.4% of the market. And in doing so, it's leapfrogged the search-focused AI, Perplexity, which seems to have stalled out around 2%. This is definitely the one to watch, because whoever wins this little fight could become the next big contender. Okay, so that's the battle for our eyeballs. Let's move to the second front, because this war isn't just for clicks, it's for capital. A lot of capital. We're talking a race on Wall Street, with valuations that are just, well, astronomical.
First, just try to wrap your head around this number. Elon Musk merged his rocket company SpaceX with his AI company xAI. The result? A new powerhouse valued at $1.25 trillion. This wasn't just a business deal, it was a massive statement of intent.
Then, of course, you've got the reigning champ, OpenAI. After their latest share sale, their valuation is locked in at a cool $500 billion. I mean, that puts it in the stratosphere of the most valuable private companies on the entire planet. It's not just a startup anymore. It's a financial juggernaut.
And right on their heels is the challenger, Anthropic. They just raised another $30 billion, which more than doubled their valuation to $380 billion. When you see that kind of cash pouring in, it tells you investors are betting big that Anthropic's focus on enterprise customers is the right move. And here's the crucial part. All that money is basically a war chest for a high-stakes race to go public. You've got OpenAI on one side, the consumer giant gunning for an IPO in late 2026. And on the other side, you have Anthropic, which actually leads in the business world with 32% of that market getting ready to go public around the same time. This is a showdown between two totally different strategies. And this table really lays it all out, doesn't it? Three titans, each with a unique strength, all aiming to hit the public markets around the same time. The timing here is everything. It's like a high-stakes game of chicken, and whoever flinches first or last could end up defining this industry for years to come. But while the entire world is watching these fights for users and for Wall Street cash, one of these players is getting ready to change the entire map of the war, to move the whole conflict to a new arena. And honestly, this is where the story takes a wild turn. It all comes down to this one quote from an all-hands meeting. We have, I guess, like interstellar ambitions. It sounds casual, but this signals one of the most radical pivots I've ever seen. He's basically declaring that the real future of AI isn't on Earth at all. It's up there. And he's not just talking. He put his money where his mouth is by merging his two empires. This isn't just about financials. This is about creating what they called an innovation engine on and off Earth. What does that mean? It means they control everything. The AI models, the satellites they run on, and the rockets that put them in orbit. Nobody else can touch that level of control.
So you've got to be asking, why? Why take a software war into space? It sounds like science fiction, right? But the logic, while it's completely audacious, is also surprisingly simple. It all boils down to physics and money.
Look, Musk's whole argument is this. AI is power hungry.
It needs more and more computing power, which on Earth creates two huge problems: massive amounts of heat and insane energy bills. But space? It's a giant freezing cold vacuum with a constant free source of solar power. It's almost the perfect solution. The goal isn't just bigger data centers anymore. It's data centers in orbit. And the scale of this plan is just mind-bending. They're planning for these orbital data centers to use somewhere between 100 and 200 gigawatts of power a year. Let that sink in. That's as much energy as some entire developed countries use. We're not talking about a server farm. We're talking about a power plant in space. And hey, this isn't some far-off fantasy. It's a real business plan. Every piece of Musk's empire is being snapped into place for this one goal. You merge the AI brains with the rocket brawn, you use the Starlink satellite network that's already up there, and you fund the whole thing with a massive IPO. It's an all-in bet on space-based AI. So that leaves us with this one massive question. The AI arms race is no longer just on your screen. It's being fought for your attention, for Wall Street's money, and now for the ultimate high ground of space. And the company that wins this multi-front war won't just own a market. They could very well earn the right to build the next chapter for all of us. The question isn't just who's going to win, but what kind of future are they going to build when they do?